you just cannot clean this data. It's too dirty to be cleaned by Excel. I'll convert this cell to Python. I'm just typing is equal to py, and I will use one function pd.toDateTime, and then I'll just refer it to this particular cell, and I'm closing the bracket, control and enter. It has cleaned the data set. Now I'll just drag it down. So I'm just copying this and drag it down. You can see almost all my dates are clean.
What is this lambda function in Excel?
Let's say some junior is trying to write this formula again, and he makes a very small error here and there, and then we are difficult to trace. So what we can do is that we can create our own functions. I will now just copy this lambda, and I'm going to Excel's name manager, and I will type new, and let's give it your name. So Nandini, and I'm just pasting this function here. So now my Excel will have a function which is called as Nandini FY, and then you can see I'm getting all my answers in one go. So I don't have to write this big formula again and again.
Is there anything in Excel where I can just type my question and it would give me the answer?
So there's a very basic generic data like name, designation, department, and salary. So Excel mein we have something called as Copilot. Let me just write like give me average salary by designation. See, it has done the job. So analyst ka average salary is 27,000. I have trust issues, so I'll put designation, I'll put analyst, and these are the two salaries. Totally kar deta hu, this plus this, and divided by 2. So it's equal to this divided by 2. So it is
27,980.
980. Yeah.
You told us a lot of things about Excel. Now we want to know, how do you keep yourself updated about it?
I'll tell you one support page trick. So like let's say you want to learn VLOOKUP function. You type VLOOKUP, you hit tab, you press Ctrl A, you click help on this function. So you land to a page which is called as support.microsoft.com. ये आपकी भगवत गीता है if you are an Excel user.
I'm sure काफी लोग ये पेज खुलते ही बंद कर देते हैं. ये क्या खुल गया? हेलो एवरीवन, आज के टाइम पे कोई भी जॉब हो, कंसल्टिंग, फाइनेंस, इवन टेक का कोई जॉब, सबको डेटा एनालिसिस करना ही पड़ता है. एंड द फर्स्ट टूल दैट यू ओपन टू एनालाइज एनी डेटा इज एक्सेल. जब भी आपको डेटा से क्लैरिटी चाहिए, इनसाइट्स चाहिए, आप एक्सेल में वो डेटा डालते हो एंड यू डू अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. बट ऑनेस्टली आप एक्सेल का सिर्फ 10% एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हो, इंक्लूडिंग मी. जो बाकी का पोटेंशियल है वो हम में से काफी लोगों को पता ही नहीं है. एंड आज के इस एक्सेल वर्कशॉप में वी आर गोइंग टू कवर द फंक्शंस जो आपके बेसिक फंक्शंस नहीं होंगे, लाइक सम, VLOOKUP, etc. We are going to see कि आप Excel से कैसे रियल बिजनेस प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हो. जो शायद आपको लगता होगा कि Python, SQL जैसे कॉम्प्लिकेटेड चीजें या फिर और भी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड टूल्स की जरूरत पड़ती होगी. आज की वर्कशॉप में we will cover बेसिक टू एडवांस टूल्स जो शायद आपको नहीं पता होंगे, लाइक XLOOKUP, PowerQuery, Macros, Dashboards, AI, Copilot and a lot more. And ये वर्कशॉप करने के लिए आज मेरे साथ है चिन्मय आमटे. He has 6+ years of experience in investment banking, due diligence, asset management. He has trained 10,000 plus candidates in analytics and modeling using MS Excel. And अगर आप उन लोगों में से जिनको सिर्फ आज के वर्कशॉप जितना ही नहीं सीख रहे हैं बट उससे भी 10x सीखना है, then Chinmay and I are doing a live workshop जिसका लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है. तो अगर आप एक्सेल को 10x ज्यादा डीप में समझना चाहते हैं तो आप वो वर्कशॉप चेकआउट कर सकते हैं. Let's get started. So hi Chinmay, thanks a lot for coming to my channel and I'm very excited to learn Excel tricks from you and I think मेरा पूरा audience जो भी ये वीडियो देख रहा है वो सब भी बहुत excited है. So I want to start with knowing what made you so much curious about Excel. How did you learn all of these cool tips and tricks that you use on a day-to-day basis to solve some real problems?
Yeah, so Nandini, thanks a lot for inviting me on your channel. Like really happy to be here and very excited to share knowledge about Excel. So I graduated in 2018 and in college days, so we are never taught Excel. So I was also never taught professionally about Excel. I had done some bits of small projects or, just keeping your logs of, your marks into an Excel file. So basic sum function, average function, that was what I knew when I graduated from my college. So first job, I still remember I was sitting at 9:30 p.m. in my office and मेरा VLOOKUP ही नहीं चल रहा था. Like, I was stuck. Then my friend, she came to my desk and she helped me. At that time, I realized that I should be like good with these things. So I started like doing courses on Udemy, reading books, talking to people, networking with people. And that's how my journey about, Excel started on my first job. Afterwards, I shifted jobs during COVID. I started blogging on LinkedIn. Today, I'm at 66,000 followers. I
Wow.
used to share Excel keyboard shortcuts. Then people started inviting me for sessions. So I've been guest speakers at like 5 IIMs, even ICAI, and a lot of other B schools in India. I started training. People started reaching out to me with doubts. So that's how like my journey began about Excel. What makes me curious about Excel? I think I just have a love for doing something in a perfection or like automating something. I am a bit lazy, so like I want my work to be so efficient that I can relax a bit. So like that drive for automation, passion to do something like perfect. I think that's what I enjoy about Excel.
Wow, that's amazing. Like a VLOOKUP error led you to here. That's amazing. So,
Yeah.
we all use Excel on a day-to-day basis. Like कोई भी हो finance, consulting, every job requires you to do some analysis and हम सब Excel use करते हैं. But I think हम जितना Excel use करते हैं वो बहुत basic होता है. It's like 10% or maybe 5%. So, what are like some of the basic things in Excel that you think people don't know, but still they are very basic and life changing at the same time?
Yeah, sure. So I'll like cover three or four basic points. So first thing, Nandini, which phone do you use, and like what's the version of that phone?
I use iPhone 15 Pro.
Okay, and now I'm asking you a question. It's a trick question. Like which Excel do you use, and what's the version of that Excel?
It's Microsoft Excel 365.
Okay, yeah. So I think you are like aware. You've worked a lot in like consulting, private equity, so you know. But many a times, like people just are not aware, like which version of Excel they are using. So I'll quickly show you
Hmm.
one shortcut, like where you can check which version of Excel you are using and what are like various nuances of the version. So I'm just
Okay,
sharing my screen.
sure.
So one of the most basic things you should be knowing, or a common mistake which people do, is that they are not aware about which version of Excel you are using.
Okay,
So one way to know is you go to File, then you go to Account, and you click on About Excel. So when you
okay.
click on About Excel, it shows you like which version of Excel you're using. So as you can see on my screen, it's Microsoft Excel 365 version. So
And
it's
for me, someone who is like using Excel on a day-to-day basis, why is it important for me to know which version I'm using?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So Excel was launched in like 1985. Today we are sitting in 2025, and over the course of 40 years, there have been like various versions. So it can very well happen that I work on some of the latest functions and I share that file with you, and you open it and it does not work on your system,
Hmm.
or you share it with your client and he sees all the errors or formulas not working. So
Got
it's
it.
very
Hmm.
important to have that compatibility, that both of you are working on the similar version of Excel.
Hmm. Understood. Okay.
Yeah. A few other basic things which I wanted to know. Like, I mean, these are some of the things which like we should be knowing, but sometimes we, kind of tend to ignore. So now I'll just give a very simple and a very basic example. So like let's say I've plotted year and I have plotted cash flows, and
Okay.
let's say I just want to take a cumulative sum, like cumulative cash flow. So I'll just write a cum sum here.
Okay.
So how usually people do it is that they will mark it to the first cell, and
Hmm.
then they would just do the adjacent cell and the cell above,
Right.
and then they will drag this particular formula. This is like a very common way to
Hmm.
kind of work on a function. Now I'll just ask you a question. I mean, one of the good practices to work on Excel is that you should maintain consistency of the data.
Right.
But here the data is not consistent because in the first cell you are referring to the adjacent cell,
Hmm.
and second onwards, like you are referring to that the cell above, and your formula starts being consistent. So one mistake here is that the formulas are not consistent. So many a times, like very basic sum function, but few things which we are not aware about sum function. So if I just copy this formula above, now I'll get a value error, right? So instead of
Right.
writing, yeah, so what I'm doing is that I'm writing this cell plus the above cell, I'll get a value error, correct?
Hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to sum a text and a number. So it's
Hmm.
something which is meaningless. But
Right.
instead of that, like let's say I use a sum function. So I use a sum function where I write the cell adjacent to me and cell above, do you think it will give me an error or it will give me a value? What do you think?
I think it should give you an error.
Okay, so let's try it. So I hit enter and say it's not giving me an
Oh.
error. So if I just do a sum and I refer it to a text cell, it does not give me an error. Why?
Okay.
Because some function has ability to ignore, right? So
Hmm.
it can ignore text inputs and still give you the value. So if I just copy this formula down, then
Right.
now I have consistent formulas throughout. Now again, a bit more on some functions. Like let's say instead of writing 70, I'm just I'll just create an intentional error here.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is that instead of writing 40, I'll write 1 divided by 0.
Right.
So now like we can ignore this column now. So
Hmm.
now let's say I delete the sum values. I discuss something about some function in detail. So now these are my cash flows, and I have just intentionally did an error here, which is 1 divided by 0. So
Okay.
now if I use a sum function, what do you think? What answer will it give me?
I think it should be the right answer because it ignores errors.
Yeah, correct. So 80, 50, 20, 10. I think it's what like
Yeah.
130, 150, and
150.
160. Yeah, 160 should be the answer. Now let's try it out. It's giving me a div zero error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and now another interesting question. So I will just write here, like I'll write your name, Chinmay, plus I'll write my name, Nandini. So of course, it's a meaningless calculation. Excel will throw some error,
Right.
correct? So now why Excel is throwing a div zero error and not a name error, correct? So again, I mean,
Yeah.
just to share the basics, I will add that same glitch here, which is Chinmay plus Nandini.
Okay.
And now you can see Excel is throwing me a name error. Why?
Hmm.
Why not a div zero error now? Like a very valid question. So it will always pick up the first error, which is there in your data. So now name error is at the top in row number 10. So
Okay.
therefore it is giving me
Hmm.
name error as an output. So like a very basic thing, right? Like a sum function, but still there are, basic nuances. And we all use sum function, but there is one more function in Excel, which is called as an aggregate function.
Okay.
So I'm using an aggregate function. So first I'm defining that I need a sum. And then I am telling here specifically, I'm choosing third option, which says ignore hidden rows, error values, etc. So I'm choosing
Right.
three. And
Hmm.
now I choose this particular value set. And now it
Okay.
is giving me 160 as a correct answer, whereas some function is giving me a wrong answer. So like a
Hmm.
very basic thing that there is a sum function which can ignore text inputs, but it cannot ignore Excel errors. And there is another function like aggregate, which all CA students know this word very well.
Yeah.
So, and it exists in Excel, but nobody uses it. So
So
these are
aggregate is
some of the,
simply sum, but avoiding errors on its
yeah,
own.
correct. Yeah. So you have
Hmm.
a lot of options in aggregate functions, like almost close to 7 options. So you can play around and try around. Yeah,
Got.
but it's very similar to some, like a more advanced level of some.
Understood.
Yeah.
So, like during my consulting tenure, then private equity, and even during my articleship, I've used functions like SUM, if, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP as well. But other than that, there are some functions which is like index match, XLOOKUP, then lambda, all of that. And index is not a simple function. It's not easy for for a lot of people. So what are these functions like, and how these functions can be useful for someone who is analyzing like heavy data files?
Yeah, sure. So I'll show one case study where we can discuss the lookup functions better. So like let's say you have this data. So I am presenting here some employee names and the days spent by them in the organization. So like I've kept a very basic data, but usually what happens like as a financial analyst or as a consultant, you need to group the data, or you need to put data into various buckets and
Right,
then analyze it. So
right.
what we are trying to do here is that this data per se is of no like very significance to us because it's too scattered. So we just want to
Hmm.
create some groupings and we just want to understand four parameters like the age of the organization, how
Okay.
many employees are like less than 6 months, how are 6 months to 1 year, how many of them have spent 2 years or more. So you're just
Okay.
trying to group your data into like various buckets and try to analyze it.
Hmm.
So let's try to do this in a very simple fashion. So I'll try to do this with the help of VLOOKUP. So now here, what is my lookup value? My lookup value is the days spent in the organization, which is
Okay.
179.
Hmm.
And then this is the table array where I have to look the data. So
Okay.
yeah, and then I have to choose column index number, which is going to
Right.
be 3 because lower range is first column, upper range is second column, and grade is the third column.
Yeah.
And then usually we prefer to have an exact match. So we will put a false as an option.
Right.
Now, if I do this, first of all, I cannot drag this formula down. If I
Hmm.
drag this formula down, I'll get errors because I have not freeze the column references.
Yes.
So what I'll do is that I will select this data points and I'll
Hmm.
just freeze it. So there is a
Right.
keyboard shortcut F4. You can freeze the data sets.
Yeah.
Now, if I just copy and drag this formula down, so
Hmm.
now you have to tell me that for Mayuri, I'm getting an output. For Gauri, I'm getting an output. And for Chinmay, I'm getting an output. So Chinmay is a special name, so it will always give you an output. But
Yeah.
then why the discrepancy, right? Like why Gauri is giving us an answer and why Sakshi is not giving us an answer? Like what do you think? What's
Because the number in column B is not exactly matching with number in column G and H. So, for example, 366 is your G16, but 529 is not there in the table.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly. Like a very, very good find. So what has happened here is that we are trying to do an exact match, but in this particular case, we cannot do an exact match because we have to
right.
do the bucketing of the data. So
Yeah.
just instead of using false argument, what we can do is we can use a true argument in VLOOKUP, and then I can drag this formula down.
Yeah.
And now you can see I'm getting the buckets done in a like a very simple manner. So
Right.
what I've done, a lot of people, how do they solve this data is that they use a very long nested if, like if
Hmm.
less than greater than 0, less than 180,
Yeah.
and making a very
Hmm.
complex formula. So this is just our own basic VLOOKUP function, but
Hmm.
with just a true argument, like which will help you give buckets to your data, like help you do an approximate match. And approximate meaning here it only works on numbers, so it's not for text. So this is how VLOOKUP function works. Now, one of the problems with VLOOKUP function is that it cannot look to the left of the data set.
Right.
So for example, if I had this particular grades in this column and I didn't have this, then there is no way VLOOKUP can give me the answer because now my lookup range is here and my data is to the left of it. So I'm not going to be able to get the answers through my VLOOKUP function.
Right.
So in
Hmm.
such situations, so long back, we didn't have XLOOKUP function. So VLOOKUP was released in 1985, and XLOOKUP
Hmm.
was released in almost 2019-20. So
Hmm.
for those 15 plus 20 years, index and match, a combination of two functions, people were using that to kind of solve this problem of looking to the left side of the data. But
Right.
after 2020, we have XLOOKUP, and you absolutely, I love XLOOKUP a lot.
Hmm.
I have stopped. So I started my career journey because I faced a bug in VLOOKUP, and today I'm at a stage where I don't use VLOOKUP at all.
Oh,
So I'll just walk you through the XLOOKUP function.
sure.
It's very easy to learn
Hmm.
and very practical and very handy and useful function. So what I can do is in the XLOOKUP is that I'll start with XLOOKUP function.
Hmm.
My lookup value is days spent in the organization.
Right.
And then this is my lookup array because I'm going to find my values in this range, which is like cell G14 to G17. I'll
Hmm.
again freeze it with a dollar sign. And then what I want in return is I want a grade in return, which is my buckets. It asks like if there is an NA error, then what output you should give.
Right.
So like let's say we can say, not available, like I can just
Hmm.
type it. And now it asks a match mode. Like, do you
Okay.
want an exact match, or you want an exact match, or a next smaller item, or the
Hmm.
next larger item? So I can choose -1 in this particular scenario.
Okay.
And now I'll get the bucketing using XLOOKUP function. So I'm just copying this formula and dragging it down.
But
And now
what
you
is
can see.
something additional that XLOOKUP is doing or can do here? Because we were able to do this with VLOOKUP as well.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And now just let's do the twisting. Like let's say I send this file to my client,
Okay.
and he just just feels that I'll just sort the data. उसे कुछ change तो होगा नहीं, and he
Okay.
just sorts the data. And you can see like moment you sort the data, the VLOOKUP function which we had used, it's throwing us an error. But XLOOKUP is still being able to give us the correct answer. So
Okay.
yeah, so VLOOKUP function requires the data to be in ascending order when you have a number-based match, approximate
Hmm.
match. XLOOKUP can work even if the data is not in ascending order. So this is one of the advantages of using an XLOOKUP function. And
Hmm.
let's say sometimes you don't have a lower range, you have an upper range. So how
Okay.
will you solve this problem? So I'll again use XLOOKUP. This is again my lookup value. Now I'm using lookup array as my upper range. So I'm selecting this data, freezing it with F4. Again, my return range is going to be my grades, F4.
Right.
And now if not found, I'll just choose NA. And here now I'm not going to choose -1, I'm going to choose +1. Correct? Because I'm referring to my upper range. I'm referring to column
Okay.
H here. Correct?
Okay.
And now I can just copy this and I can paste it. You can see I'm getting the data. So if you don't have lower range, if you have upper range, you can use
Hmm.
XLOOKUP in that scenario as well. So a lot of things like this small things which are there in XLOOKUP,
Hmm.
which makes it very handy and it's very easy to learn. Like I train people a lot on Excel. I've trained more than 12,000 people. VLOOKUP is slightly complex, but XLOOKUP is something which people pick up in like 10-15 minutes.
And you're saying XLOOKUP has replaced index, match, etc., or do we still need to use those functions?
I feel like in 9 out of 10 cases, XLOOKUP would do the job which either VLOOKUP or index match might be
Hmm.
doing. So if you learn XLOOKUP, then you're sorted.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And again, coming to the questions where you mentioned, Chinmay, what are those basic things where people miss out on Excel?
Yeah.
So I'll just present another case study. So
Sure.
these are some account numbers
Hmm.
and these are bank balances. And what here I've just noted down this same account number. So you can see this is the same account number which I have noted here.
Right.
And I have used a VLOOKUP function and I have used an XLOOKUP function as well here.
Okay.
So, but still it's throwing me an NA answer. So now if you see my VLOOKUP value is G26, which is this cell
Hmm. Right.
in this range, and it is giving me second value as an output. So now if you can see like this is 14,005 2005,
Same
and
number,
this is
which
also,
is last
yeah,
month.
exactly same
Okay.
number. So VLOOKUP is giving a wrong answer, and even XLOOKUP is giving a wrong answer. So why is it so? Like, what do you think?
I see there is some like, green flag there, and because of
Yeah.
which maybe there is some spacing or it's not in the right format, due to which VLOOKUP is causing that error. And I have seen this error a lot of times, and I needed
Yeah.
to clean my data before applying VLOOKUP.
Yeah, that's correct. So in this case, those green flags are technically red flags. So
Yeah.
yeah, so there is one very basic function in Excel which I love using, which is an is number. So it's basically just asking each cell like, are you a number? So if I go here and if I ask this cell, ki, hey, are you a number? It will give me false as an answer because it's
Okay.
it's not a number, correct?
Right.
Now I'll ask the same question to the cell which is to my right. So hey, are you is number? So I'm typing is number. I'm referring it to this particular cell, and I'm hitting enter. Now it is saying me true. So basically,
Mhm.
Excel is recognizing column G as a number, but when it comes to like this particular cell or the target cell, which is this, it is not being able to recognize it as a number. So that's why our VLOOKUP is also giving us a different error. And one more thing, like which you, if you need to be really good at Excel, is that you should have like very minute observation skills. So do
Mhm.
you, Nandini, do you notice any difference between the way this cell is and the way this cell is, like any small difference do you notice?
Yes, very small differences that A29, it's left aligned and
Yeah.
G is right aligned.
Yeah, that's a very amazing observation. So that's a very small hint, like it's giving that this is aligned as a text and this is aligned as a
Yeah.
number because numbers are right aligned.
Right aligned.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, this is a way where you have to clean the data set. So either you can convert these number. So basically, what we have to do is we have to convert these account numbers to
Mhm.
like proper Excel numbers. So for that, we have a number value function in Excel. So you just use number value and you refer it to any text which you have, and you can
Mhm.
close the bracket. It's as simple as that. You
Okay.
hit enter, you copy paste it, and you drag the formulas down. So now we have converted all these numbers to values, which is numbers in Excel. All I will do is that I will copy this and I will value paste this. So Control Alt V, and I will do a value paste. And you can
And
see
if
now.
we just do equal to, I think that also converts that cell value to number. Or
Yeah,
it
I
won't
think
work here.
yeah, it can work. So many a times, let's try it out. So I'm doing equal to,
Yeah.
uh, and let's just try it out. Nandini's trick versus Chinmay. In this case, maybe it's not working. But I think
Yeah,
number
this is
value function works. And I think you're right. So see, what I would do is that I would use some basic mathematics function. So I would say this plus zero, right? Because anything plus zero is the same number. And
yeah.
then maybe then Excel might consider this to be like a number. Now let me just copy this and value paste this.
Yeah.
uh, I think now it's considering it as a number and it's giving us the right answer. Now you can see that this is throwing the correct answer, which is 10,000 is the account balance. So yeah, so you can do this, you can just convert, you can use some basic, desi jugaad, that you do equal to plus zero and you
Hmm.
do. Or if you want to play safe, you can use a number value function as well. Many a times it would happen that you get data from different countries.
Yeah.
Even the comma logic is different at times,
Hmm.
billions versus lakhs is very different. So in all those situations, number value function does a very good job.
Since we are on the topic of cleaning the data, so what are some of the two, three, four things that one can do to clean the data? Let's say that file has some comma, spaces, and some other kind of symbols, and I want to like do some analysis on that data. So how should I go about cleaning that data?
Yeah, sure. So I'll give you some basic example where we can clean the data set. So I've plotted this simple income statement. So you can say gross income to net profit. And as you can see, what I've done here is that instead of writing zero, like many a times when you copy the data from PDF, you can have a dash here. Correct.
Right.
So these two are numbers, and you can see that instead of writing general expenses, this is like a dash, and
Hmm.
here selling expenses is also a dash. So
Okay.
it's not good to keep data in a dash format, because like let's say if I decide to add something, it will give me
Hmm.
value error because it's not a number, it's a
Right.
dash as an input. So now let's say you want to quickly replace this dash with
Hmm.
let's say a zero, right?
Okay.
So let's try it out. So everybody knows find and replace, quite a
Right.
basic thing in Excel. So I do select the data and I do Control H, which is a keyboard shortcut for find and replace.
Right.
Now what I do is that I find dash and I replace it with zero. Sounds good. Like we can go ahead with this strategy.
Yeah, I
So
think so.
yeah, so now let's replace all. So the profit is 400. Let's see what
Right.
happens when we do it. Profit has changed to 1600.
Okay.
So it's a good thing that we have increased the profit of the company. But I mean, it's not a good thing because we have like completely messed up the data. So what has happened, all those expenses, those who were negative, they have also become
Okay.
positive. So this was
Hmm.
minus 500. I'll do control Z. I joke, control Z has saved more lives than vaccine. So I'll do a control Z. And now you can see that this is minus 500, which became like, positive 500 because Excel went and it replaced this minus sign also with a zero.
Hmm.
This minus sign with a zero,
Right.
all these minus signs with zeros, and
Hmm.
then we got 1600 as an output. So we don't want Excel to do that. So how we can
Right.
clean this data? I'll do control H, find what, find dash, replace
Hmm.
it with zero. But there is a very small setting, like you can see here you have something called as options.
Right.
So you can just click on options. You can say match entire cell contents.
Okay.
So what
Hmm.
I'm telling Excel is that find dash and
Hmm.
replace it with zero when the entire cell content is dash.
Hmm.
So match entire cell content. So in this particular case, entire cell content is not dash, it is dash with 500. So Excel will
Right.
ignore that particular cell.
Hmm.
And in this particular cell, which is B14, I just have dash as my entire cell content. So now
Hmm.
I'll do a replace all, and you can see all done. We have made two replacements. So you can clean the data, with find and replace options. And these are very small nuances,
Hmm.
which you should be aware of.
Right.
You if you want to clean the data set.
Got it. This is very helpful.
Yeah. And just one more small point, like in terms of understanding Excel better. So you can see that here I have written like some branches and their total profits. Correct. Now again, a very small thing in Excel. I'll do a control F and I will try to find 11. Cool.
Right.
So do you think Excel will be able to find 11?
No.
So okay, you are saying no, but I think मेरे आंखों के सामने मुझे 11 दिख रहा है, and I'm asking Excel, just find 11. So I'm
Right.
doing a find all, and say it says that we
Yeah,
couldn't find what you're looking for.
exactly. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean आंखों के सामने 11 दिख रहा है. I'm asking it to find 11, but it's not able to do that. So I think you should answer this question because I think you know this very well. So why is that?
Because it looks for absolute value. So if 11 is there or 12 is there, then it can find. But actually, 11 is not an absolute value here. It's a sum of three values. So it
Yeah.
can't read those formula outcome values.
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, for you, like for your and my eyes, this is 11. But for Excel, that is not 11. It is B4 plus B5 plus B6. So,
Yeah.
therefore, Excel is not able to read this as an 11. Again, there is a very small setting. So, instead of, look in formulas, what you should say that look in values. So, what will Excel do? It will convert all your formulas to like basically numbers, and then it will try to search for those values. So now I'm telling Excel that look values, don't look in formulas.
Hmm.
And if I do a find all, see now it is able to give me the correct answer
Right.
that Chinmay Nandini podcast is the file name. In the cell B7, you have 11 as a value. So
Okay.
these are some of the small nuances. Like, let's say you are just rushing for a meeting and your boss has asked you to check few numbers and आप control F करके आपको दिख ही नहीं रहा है. So
Yeah.
just, try this tricks around.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. And what is this lambda function in Excel?
Yeah, so lambda's function is my favorite function in Excel. So I'll just give you a very quick overview on like what is lambdas in Excel.
Right.
So this has happened to Excel in like 2022, 2023.
Okay.
And I make a lot of money like by auditing lambda functions and writing lambda functions. So I write lambda functions like which are 2-3 page long and I audit them. But of course, like we'll cover the basics in this podcast, and I'll just give you an idea of what is a lambda function.
Hmm.
So like let's say we have these dates, and we just want to understand like what are the fiscal years. Like
Right.
you being a CA coming from tax background, you mentioned it was one of your favorite subjects. So
Yeah.
fiscal year is a different concept and calendar year is a different concept. So there is
Right.
a function in Excel which is called as a year. So I just refer it to a date
Okay.
and I just drag the formula down. So it is giving me like the calendar year. So this is
Hmm.
2024, 2023, 2025, correct?
Right.
Simple calendar year which is being pulled up. There is one more function in Excel which is like a month function, correct? So if I type is equal to month and I refer it down, so it will give me the month. So
Right.
like Jan is the first month, April is the fourth month, December, which is my birthday month, is the 12th month.
Yeah.
So, but now if I tell you, Nandini, you give me a fiscal year out of this data set. Like I'm not interested in the calendar year. I'm
Hmm.
interested in the fiscal year because Indian fiscal year starts from like first April. I think you know it the best, 1st April to 31st March.
Yeah.
So this is 20th Feb. So I think this will be 2024. Like
Right.
tax year. This will also be 2024.
This is
But this,
2024.
yeah, this is again 2024.
Four.
And this would be 2025,
Yeah.
correct? It would
Yeah.
end in March. So now how do I like get this data set? Like there
Hmm.
is no fiscal year function in Excel,
Hmm.
and there would not be any fiscal year function in Excel. Don't blame Microsoft because they are catering to 100 plus countries, and every country has its own logic. Before this, I was working at EY. EY follows a 1st July to 30th June calendar. So like you can't expect to have so many fiscal years in Excel. So we will learn a very basic function, if function in Excel. So if we have to define a logic, see again, while working on Excel, it's not just that you should know about the functions, you should have like a very good logical thinking. So in this particular case, can you tell me with the help of if function, like, what's the logic? And then we will build the if formula. So you have months in front of you, you have calendar year in front of you. Now you just need to define a logic, which we can just drag it down across the years.
So the logic would be if
Hmm.
let's say that particular date is before March of that year, let's say we are looking at FY25, maybe we would need
Yeah.
to create one more column where we can apply that cell. But the logic would be if it is before, if it is between 1st April to March 2024, like 23 to 24, then it would be FY24. Similarly, 1st April 24 to March 25,
Yeah, but again, if you're
like that.
working on a very long data set,
Right,
then it becomes very complex to organize, write such a long formula. So there is a very simple way to do that. If like my month is Jan, Feb, and March, then
hmm,
my calendar year is same as my fiscal year, right? This is what we
right,
have observed. And
yeah,
if it's not Jan, Feb, and March, like it's from April to December, then my fiscal year is basically my calendar year plus one,
right,
because in December 2024, it was 2025.
right,
So I'll just use this simple logic.
hmm,
So I'll just use if I'll use a month function. So I'll extract month from this particular data set. If it's
right,
greater than three, right? If my
hmm,
month is greater than three, then it's April to December. Then
right.
basically it would be
Yours
calendar
plus
year,
one.
yeah, year plus one.
Yeah.
If not that, what if the value is false? So see, if statement works on logical test. So I've given a logical test. If month is greater than three, then you do calendar year plus one, which we have done here. And if it is false, then just give me a simple calendar year. Correct?
Hmm.
So I'll just take calendar year as an example. And
Right.
now you can see I can drag this formula down. But
Hmm.
again, now you asked me the question about lambda and मैं यहाँ पे calendar years, fiscal years, ये
Yeah.
सब चीजों में चला गया. So like what's the use of lambda? Now you
Right.
see this is a very long function,
Yeah.
and writing. I mean, I love working on Excel and I love writing these big formulas again and again. But let's appreciate people don't always like it. And second thing is you want to do your work efficiently, like you want to fasten your work,
And
and
there's
you
one
all.
more problem. Like I always used to hear this from my seniors that then you always keep the formula simple because the longer the formula is, more are the chances of making a mistake or inserting something by any chance, and the
Yeah, yeah.
entire flow gets disrupted.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a very good point, because what happens is that, like, let's say some junior is trying to, write this formula again, and he makes a very small error here and there. And then,
Right.
we are difficult to trace. So, what we can do is that we can create our own functions. So, in Excel, usually we have formulas and functions, and like we have like 500 functions. Now,
Right.
what I will do is that I will use Lambda function to create my own function. So,
Hmm.
what I'll do is that I have written this formula. I will just put it inside a lambda function. So I'll write a lambda, and then
Okay.
I will give it a variable. So like let's say I'm giving it a variable as month name. Fine. And then instead of cell A6, I will just replace everywhere, with a month name. So I'm just typing it month name here.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just see the magic. Like it's one of my favorite functions. I have done this. It will obviously give me a wrong answer. So I will now just copy this lambda. I'm copying
Okay.
this, and I'm going to Excel's name manager. So you go to formulas,
Okay.
and you go to a name manager, and then I will type new, and let's give it your name. So Nandini's fiscal year. So I'm writing it as Nandini FY,
ठीक है.
and I'm just pasting this function here. And then I'm
Okay.
clicking on OK. So
Hmm.
now my Excel will have a function which is called as a Nandini FY.
Okay.
And then see now moment I write it, it asks us month, month, name or date,
Right.
whatever you want to just give it. So we'll just give it as a date. And then you can see I'm getting all my answers in one go. So I don't have to write this big formula again
Mm-hmm.
and again. I have written Nandini FY, and I can just use it again and again. So that's the beauty of Lambda. You code a very complex logic, and then just you can use it again and again. It's like having those ready to eat packets where you have made all the efforts in one place,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just have to boil it and you can use it. So that's the concept of Lambda. You can create your own functions, and it will happen that in a job role you will be doing same calculations again and again. Like
Right.
depreciation is going to be same in all models, payback period is going to be same in all models,
Yeah.
year to date values is going to be same in all fields. So why not create lambdas and reuse them again and again to improve your efficiency?
Got it. Got it. This is very interesting. So basically, Lambda is a function which you can use to create customized formulas for yourself, and you don't need to
Yeah.
type them again and again, or even drag them again and again.
Yeah.
Got
That's the beauty of Lambda, and it's so simple. I'll just create a new file. So in this particular new file, again the keyboard shortcut is Control and N. So you can see here we don't have that Nandini Lambda, right? So when I
Hmm.
type N, it's not giving. So what I'll do is just I will create a blank sheet in this
Okay.
workbook. The keyboard shortcut is Shift and F11. I will do a right click. and I'll just
Okay.
move a blank sheet
Hmm.
to that new workbook. So this is the new workbook which I started, and I'm just moving a blank sheet there. Create a copy,
Hmm.
click on OK. So see that blank sheet has moved, and now all my lambdas have been here. So if I type Nandini FY, you
Okay.
can see Nandini FY is here. You just need to transfer one blank sheet into the model, and those lambdas would be
So it would be there
available.
in sheet one as well.
Yeah, it would be there throughout this workbook now. So you can it will be here also. So you can see here is
Okay.
also it's Nandini.
Understood.
So basically
Understood.
your lambda is stored in this name manager, and once you transfer a sheet, all your names also get transferred. So that is how like your lambdas also get transferred. So that's kind of the way it works.
So, Chinmay, a lot of people think of Python or SQL something which is very complex. So, are there any business problems, like real business problems that you have solved using Excel, which people think requires Python or SQL?
Yeah, I think that's a very amazing question. And I just discovered this like, few days back.
Okay.
So one good update for all our subscribers is that Python has been completely integrated into Excel. So you can see I go to my Excel, this is my formulas tab, and you can see here insert Python, correct?
Okay.
So complete Python has been now integrated into Excel.
Hmm.
So you just have to go to any random cell, you type is equal to py,
Hmm.
and you just hit a tab key. Now this is a Python cell. You can literally write Python functions here. So
Okay.
Python has been integrated into Excel. But now like Excel में इतना सब है तो हम लोग क्यों सीखे Python and all.
Hmm.
So there are some cases where even Excel cannot solve these questions. So again,
Oh.
coming to the point of cleaning the data, like we'll catch
Hmm.
that theme. So now these are our messy dates.
So, what is
Uh,
what is the thing that we are doing here, which now is being replaced with Excel, and we don't require Python?
Yeah, correct. So now we would be trying to solve a particular problem which Excel cannot solve on its own. We
Okay.
will do it with the help of we will do it with the help of Python. So
Okay.
now these are
Hmm.
our messy dates. Now you can just see the way these dates are written. Correct.
It
Someone is
reminds me
writing.
of my audit days. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is 3rd of November 2027.
Right.
August 15, 2027. This guy
Yeah.
has written a date directly, like
Yeah.
completely messy data. Now
Yeah.
you try any Excel function, you try Lambda, you try substitute, find, you just cannot clean this data. It's too dirty to be cleaned by Excel. Excel limits
Right.
here itself as a software. So
Hmm.
what I'll do is that I'll convert this cell to Python. Now I'm using Excel, I'm using Python, but within Excel.
Okay.
So I'm just typing is equal to py, and this has become now like a Python cell. I can write some Python code here.
So
Uh,
equal to py, you press the tab or enter.
yeah, so you press you type is equal to py, and you just hit a tab.
Okay.
So tab key. Yeah,
Hmm.
and then you have to. Now this is a Python cell. I can do anything in Excel. Like I can write literally a Python code here,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
then I will use one function
Hmm.
which is so pd.toDateTime, this is the function which I'm going to use. So basically I'm using pandas library in Python,
Okay.
and then I'll just refer it to this particular cell, and I'm
Hmm.
closing the bracket. Now you can't hit enter, you have to press control and enter because it's a Python cell. So you
Okay.
have to use control and enter.
Hmm.
It will show busy, and you can see it has cleaned the data set. Now I'll just
Hmm.
drag it down. So I'm just copying this and drag it down. It takes some time, but you can see almost all my dates are clean. So this is December 1st, and it's being
Hmm.
able to recognize that it's a proper December 1st date. So this is something which traditional Excel cannot do, but Python in Excel can do because Python is an advanced library. A lot
Hmm.
of people have built those libraries for years and decades,
Hmm.
and some logics are coded. So this pandas library uses some statistical and machine learning algorithms, to clean these data sets. So this is the
Okay.
use case of Python in Excel, where standalone Excel will not work.
But here, like you knew what to write, like pd dot to date time. But
Yeah,
let's say someone like me who doesn't know Python or anyone, and we
yeah.
just know, okay, this is a messy data and I want to make it clean. So what are the steps for me to determine, okay, this is the correct formula or the right thing that I need to write here to perform my task?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, and I think that's why you should follow your channel, follow me on LinkedIn, so that you start learning these different functionalities in Python and Excel. So I mean, it's not easy. Like you have to do the grunt hard work of understanding a lot of Excel functions, understanding a lot of Python libraries, and then being able to understand which type of function, which type of library is going to solve my particular data set.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean the answer to your question is sheer hard work. And maybe when we talk about AI in Excel, maybe you can use ChatGPT or Copilot, you to help, or which will help you to point in the right direction. So
That's the
that's
first
one
thing
way
I
to.
do nowadays. Okay, I want to do this. How do I do this? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's another way you can get to do.
Got it. And what about SQL? Or is there anything you want to cover in Python work?
So a lot
Hmm.
of people who want to get a job in data analyst, like a lot of people from engineering background, they usually work on tools like SQL or Databricks, where you handle like large amounts of data
Hmm.
uh, to basically like it's more of like database work,
Hmm.
not typically done by financial modelers or consultants. So it's more of like a data engineering role. But a lot of things in SQL and in uh, Excel, there is a synergy. So in Excel, there is something called as Power Query. So a lot
Okay.
of ideas or thoughts which you would be using in Excel, like concept
Hmm.
of joins or concepts of group by, etc. Those you can still do in Power Query. So
This
yeah, I
brings
mean,
me to ask you what is Power Query and how one can use it.
yeah, I think okay, that's a very good question. So what's Power Query is basically uh, like I'll just take you to one sheet. So this is my data, and this
Okay.
is my get data tab. So this
Right.
data get data tab is basically my Power Query in
Okay.
Excel. So
Hmm.
it's there in Excel since 2016-17. So it's just been like 10 years or so. Like we have Power Query. On
Hmm.
the other hand, VLOOKUP was launched in 1985, so it has a very long history. So it's relatively a new feature which a lot of people don't know.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you an example of how you can use Power Query. Power Query is basically an ETL tool, which is extract, transform, and load the data set.
Okay.
So let me just go to some Google search. I'll open the incognito mode, and let's say Olympics gold medals data.
Okay.
And I'm just seeing this particular data, and I'm like, hey, I like want this particular table into my Excel. So how do I get this table into my Excel? So
Hmm.
what you can do with Power Query is you can get the data into Excel. So you can just click on data. You can say get data from like other sources. You can choose web, and you can just simply paste the URL here. So I'm pasting the URL here, which was Olympics medals table. I click on
Right.
OK,
Hmm.
and now it will open a Power Query editor. It asks you how do you want to connect the data. So like let's say sometimes you want to scrape data from like let's say some website where you have to use your credentials like Bloomberg, etc. So even that
Hmm.
option is available, but Wikipedia is like very free, so we can just connect to it anonymously. And now that data will load into Power Query editor. It's slightly slow to load.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the advantage of Power Query, that you can get data from multiple sources. Like even you can import the data from a PDF into Power Query. So like
Hmm.
that's one of the advantages of like using Power Query.
Got it.
And now you can see like it has fetching me different tables. So basically I'm interested in this table, which is country wise, how many medals do they have.
Hmm.
So I can just click on table 2, and I can just say transform the data. So
Okay.
yeah, so now I can just organize the data better. I can sort it, resort it if I want.
Hmm.
Like that's an option which I have. So let's say I sort descending, and I can just close and load this data to my Excel. So I'm clicking close and load, and whatever the data is on Wikipedia, it's basically being loaded into my Excel. Now you would be like, kitchen I can my copy paste like I can do a copy paste. So
Yeah.
like why should I like take the pain of like doing this? The
Hmm.
advantage is it's like updated. So all you have to do is just go here and click on refresh. And if there is any change on Wikipedia, then it will automatically be reflected into your Excel as well. So it's like automating your work. You don't have to manually copy paste again and again. And most of the data, like
Got it.
financial markets data, all those data, like those are all like live data sets. They'll
Mhm.
constantly keep on changing.
Right.
So you can use Power Query to get data from different sources. So that's one more thing about Power Query. Another way is that you can also use Power Query to clean the data set. Like again, continuing our theme on cleaning the data set.
Right.
Now you can see here, I have written this name, which is Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company.
Right.
Cool. Now we want to split the data based on the capital letters. So you
Hmm.
can see I want Swadeshi, then I want Steam, then I want navigation, then I want company.
Right.
Correct. Now here's the first name Rahul Chimanbhai Mehta. So I want Rahul, then I want Chimanbhai, and then I want Mehta.
Right.
Now Excel cannot do this. Correct. So
Hmm.
Excel does not have a lot of functions which will help you do it easily, but you can do it with the help of Power Query. So I'll just brush upon basics of AI or algorithm based features. We will use Power Query to clean this data set, and then we will move maybe to the topic of AI because that's the hot topic. So yeah, so
Exactly.
what I'm doing is that I want to clean this data set. So I'm going to get data from other sources. I'm saying from table and range.
Right.
So we get into Power Query. I will say add a column and I'll say column from examples. And
Hmm.
now I'll just give it an example, which is Rahul, Rahul,
Right.
Chiman Bhai, and Mehta. And then I'll give it one more example.
Hari
Hari,
Krishna Prasad Venguru.
yeah, one more. Correct. And now say it's able to pick up, what I want
Right.
to do.
Hmm.
And you can see the formula which it has written, is equal to let split names. Okay. I'll
Right.
just click on OK.
Hmm.
And maybe I can just click on close and load to. So I can click on close and load to, and you can see my data has been cleaned.
Hmm.
Correct.
Now, this would be very helpful if there would have been like 500 rows like this.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And you cannot do this in traditional Excel. You are kind of forced to, do this into
hmm.
Power Query only. So that's
Okay.
another reason. And this is our Power Query editor. So I'll show you something.
Hmm.
I go to View, and I click on Advanced Editor.
Right.
So yeah, so now you can see this function let in, you know, table dot add column, table dot transform column. So this is the language of Power Query. It's called as an M language.
Okay.
It has used a text dot combine function. So these are also like a completely set of new formulas in Excel, which is called as Power Query formulas. So
Right.
Power Query works on M language, which is like a completely new language, different language in Excel. So I mean, just to summarize, so we learned Excel formulas, then we learned Python in Excel, and then we learned Power Query in Excel. So all these are based on different languages. Power Query is based on M language. Python is like Python, a completely programming language, and then Excel
Yeah.
formulas. Then you have AI in Excel, you have VBA macros in Excel. So,
Hmm.
a lot of these different languages and functions are learning. So there are 700 functions just in Power Query. So if
Hmm.
you want to learn Power Query, then yeah, you can spend 6 months, 1 year learning that.
Got it. Got it. Understood. So you just mentioned about AI and VBA codes. I am personally excited to learn everything about AI. I keep using a lot of tools. I want to know how AI has changed Excel, like how Excel has become more productive. Are there any additional extensions that one can use to incorporate AI while doing some analysis in Excel?
Yeah, sure. So I think I'll split the question into two parts. So A, you asked me about VBA macros, and then you asked me about AI, and I'll show a combination of both the things.
Okay.
So see, AI is not something magic. Like you should know, what you are asking AI also. So that's also very important thing. Now
Right.
let's say we are working on this particular sheet, and it has no index, right? And a lot of our subscribers would be like, "Hey, Nandini, share this file with us. We want to practice it."
Right.
And we think that let's create a proper index and give it to the people. So how do we create index? Like I add a sheet, shift F11, and I start doing indexing manually, which is like a very painfully boring task,
Yeah.
which we don't want to do. So how
Right.
can we create and automate a index creation? So now if I just type is equal to AI and just hope it to give, it's not going to give us. So
Hmm.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a combination of VBA and AI. So basically I'll be using VBA macros,
Hmm.
and I don't know the coding. So I will ask AI to write that code for me. So
Okay.
what is VBAs and macros? Like a very popular question which people
Hmm.
ask. So VBA is Visual Basic for Application. It's a programming language. It works not only in Excel, but it works in like Outlook. It works in PowerPoint. So it's like a complete Microsoft environment ka language, and macros is the output of it. So just to give you a metaphor, like let's say you write an exam answer and you learn English language. So learning
Right.
English language is what ABCD, punctuation marks. So that is all the syntax which VBA है. And वो
Okay.
सारा आप English सीख के you write an exam answer. So that
Right.
becomes a macro, which is an output. So ABCD, punctuation marks, that's VBA. And the output, like you write an exam answer, you write an
Hmm.
article, you write blogs on LinkedIn. So that's an output.
Right.
So macro is the output of VBA.
Hmm.
So how to access like VBA windows? So there is a keyboard shortcut in Excel,
Okay.
which is Alt and F11. So if you
Hmm.
press Alt and F11, you run into like this is a VBA editor where
Okay.
you can kind of write this, and I'll write this code in this workbook. So you can just scroll here down and double click on this workbook, and I can write a code here. But of course, I don't know coding. So what
Yeah.
I'll do is I'll go to my uh, uh, browser. I'll open ChatGPT. So yeah, so I have landed to the ChatGPT and I'll just ask it ki I want to create a summary index page. A summary index page. Can you help me write a VBA macro code?
Right.
VBA macro
Hmm.
code for this. So let's see if ChatGPT is giving us the correct answer. So it is thinking. And basically, it will give us a VBA macro code which I can directly use and copy paste it.
Right.
So yeah, it's thinking a lot. Uh, and it is trying to write a code. So such a lengthy code. So ChatGPT is fantastic at writing codes, like especially the VBA codes.
Hmm.
And it has given such a long code, which obviously would have taken us like days and days to write. So
Now,
let
job
me
of a VBA coder is gone.
Yeah, I mean it's at definitely at a risk. So let's see if it's gone or not. Let me just type the output and see. So this is the code I've just copy pasted,
Right.
and you can just click on run and you can
Done.
run this. So I'm running this. So summary index sheet has been rebuilt. Click on OK.
Okay.
I'll close this, and you can see this is our index sheet. So it has the type, all
Wow.
the details, and like let's say we want to go to Power Query sheet. So I just click on Power Query. I'm here. So
Okay.
that summary sheet is kind of available. So whoever is kind of watching this podcast, and he basically wants to go to the index sheet, and let's say he wants to go to the some basic function.
Hmm.
So we go to the some basic function where we started. So this index, it was not there in my file before, and
Right.
like VBA code given by ChatGPT like
Hmm.
just did the job like in just few columns, and it has given me some additional data points also which may
Hmm.
not be even required, but it has still done that particular job.
And are there
So
any limitations of this function, like what all VBA code can or cannot do? Let's say this person that like this page is not currently looking good. Let's say I want to beautify it. So can I even make a code for that and run it, and then this page would look nice?
yeah, I think you can do that definitely. So maybe we'll just have to improve our prompting. So we can like I want only hyperlink. So I'll just say that I want serial numbers and hyperlinks. No
Okay.
other data is needed.
Hmm.
Use a nice font so that it looks presentable. So I've just given this a font so that index, I'll say that index page looks presentable. So I've just given
Right.
this particular prompt, and let's see if it is able to uh, write another code or so.
Hmm.
So yeah, it has given us another code. So it's
Okay.
still writing.
Oh, this is even longer, it seems. I
Yeah, yeah,
think now it's done.
yeah. I think it's done. So I'll just copy this.
Yeah.
So I'm a person who does not care a lot about aesthetics, so I would have never put this prompt, but I think
Okay.
you made
I
this
think
for
this
this
is
prompt.
coming from my consulting and private equity background. Like it should
Yeah,
look nice.
yeah. So
Yeah.
again, like we have already added this code. So one more way I can insert, and I can insert a module. So I'll insert a module and I'll again copy paste this code here. So
Hmm.
inserted a module, I paste this code here,
Okay.
and let me just run the tool. Index sheet is created and updated. So let's just
Okay.
close it. And I think, yeah, now it has given us, I think maybe more prompts would be required, but
Right.
now it has given us like a fairly decent output. Like
Hmm.
you can beautify, you can ask to add logos, you can improve the color sheets. So I think all that is your prompting skills.
Hmm.
So yeah, that is how you can, play around with ChatGPT, flirt with ChatGPT, get more and more outputs and like, do your job.
So
So we
this
have
is
just
VBA
answered.
coding.
Yeah. So what we have done is that we have used a VBA code to like kind of create an VBA macro, which will give us the
Okay.
summary index. So that is one way you can use VBA. You can use ChatGPT and VBA. Now I'll tell you another example where,
Wait, before we go ahead, let's say I
yeah,
insert one more sheet in this workbook.
yeah,
So this would automatically be updated because it's a macro. So ideally, that's how people think of macro, that if you run it, then you
yeah,
can just automatically update things or
yeah. So I
how it
think
happens.
we can try it out. So let's say I'll add another sheet. So which is, and let's name it Nandini.
Right.
So, and this is our index. So basically, again, you'll have to go to your VB editor. So
Okay.
so I'll press Alt F11, which is our
Right.
keyboard shortcut, and I'll run this
Again.
code again. And let's see if Nandini is added or not. So I close this,
Okay.
and yeah,
It's
see
added.
Nandini is here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 5 does not suit you. You're AIR 1, but still, we have kept you on 5. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how
Cool.
it basically helps. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And yeah, I
Okay.
was talking about AI in Excel.
Yes.
So see now what we are doing, see there are two ways you can use AI in Excel. One is where you use AI to write Excel formulas, where
Okay.
you use AI to write VBA codes. But what if I directly want answer only through AI? Correct?
Right.
I mean, a lot of Gen Zs have this question कि मुझे सीखना ही नहीं है VLOOKUP, आप सीधा आउटपुट ही दे दो मुझे AI यूज करके.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, like very valid and a very interesting question. So
Hmm.
I'll just see if I find that case study. Yeah, cool. So this is this case study. So like, let's say you have call transcripts and you have these names. Like you have these like introductions. So like, hey, hi there, I'm Chinmay, but you can call me Mr. Amte if that's more formal. Someone
Okay.
says like, you can allow me to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Kapoor, but please call me Priya.
Right.
Now your boss has asked you ki like just go through the call transcript and tell us like, who all people attend the call,
Okay.
like a very basic question which he has asked you. Now you use any function, like any lambda, any VBA macro code, any Power Query. It's simply not going to able to solve this question because
Okay.
it requires that flavor of generative AI.
Hmm.
So यहाँ पे like see this guy is writing हमें सीधे साधे अक्षय, right? I mean how
Hmm.
my macro is supposed to figure it out कि यहाँ से अक्षय extract करना है. So
Right.
what you can do is जैसे Play Store होता है वैसे like there is something called as add-ins in Excel. So you just click
Okay.
on add-ins
Hmm.
and you can click on more add-ins, and this is like a Play Store of Microsoft where
Okay.
you can download a lot of add-ins into Excel. So these are basically, I would say, apps
Hmm.
which are there in Excel, and you can use them again and again to kind of basically you can install some interesting apps. So what I've done
Right.
is that there is an app called as ChatGPT for Excel. So
Hmm.
ChatGPT for Excel मैंने ये install किया है. You can install it. It gives you some free trials also. So I have like few trials left.
Hmm.
And then I will ask it to write me a function. So I type is equal to AI. Now
Okay.
AI dot I'll say AI dot extract because I want to extract names.
Hmm.
And this is the value. And then maybe I'll just write a prompt like, what do I want to extract? So
Hmm.
can you extract the first name of the person? First name of the person. Basic English language prompt I'm writing. Enter. And let's see, it's able to extract Chinmay. Let me just
Okay.
pull down this formula down.
Hmm.
And It has done a wonderful
Hmm.
job, and it has given
Got
me
it.
all the names of the people. Now let me just copy this formula, and I'll
Hmm.
just ask him extract the first name ke jagah pe I will extract surname of the function
Hmm.
of the person, and then let's just see if it's able to do the job well. And I'm dragging this formula down. I think it's busy. It's dependent on how you can. Uh,
Maybe because there is no surname like Aisha or David, but in your
yeah,
very
yeah,
first
yeah.
line there is.
Correct, correct. Yeah. So why it's showing busy? Just yeah. So ideally, it should able to solve this particular problem. I don't. See now it has solved. So sometimes it takes some time to load.
Hmm.
So that's a problem. So see now it is saying Amte, which is my surname, and here it is clearly showing
Not
that
found.
no surname not found. And here
Hmm.
it is see able to give us Priya Kapoor, like such a weird thing because she has said I am Dr. Kapoor, but please call me Priya, but she's able
Hmm.
to give me the answer. So that's the beauty of generative AI. So AI dot extract is a function which I've used, which is a chat GPT based function. So this is the add-in which I've downloaded. You
Hmm.
can also download it. You'll have to buy a plan after your free trial is over, and then you can literally use chat GPT through your Excel formulas.
Got
Like
it.
you can simply automate the work. You add another call transcript,
Yes.
and you
Yeah.
can just use it.
I have one doubt here. So here it was more of text. So even let's say if I would have uploaded transcript PDF in ChatGPT or let's say Notebook LM,
Hmm.
I could have just asked, okay, can you extract the names of people who were there in this meeting? And most probably I would have gotten the right answer. But if we
Yeah.
talk about numbers, so what would be the application of AI extract while there is some numeric problem here?
Yeah, correct. So see, I mean, what happens is that I'll give you a very live example. So what I was doing is that uh, I was working on a credit rating model where we were assigning a credit rating to a company.
Hmm.
So what was happening is that we were extracting data from the PDFs, which are like in the Moody's PDF. Moody's senses the data like the methodology, and we wanted to kind of assign company credit ratings to a lot of companies. So what we did was we extracted the data uh,
Okay.
in Excel from those PDFs. Then I built my entire Excel model, and then I wanted an output. So now here what happens is that see you cannot use AI end to end always. Now that credit
Right.
rating model which I built, that's my own logic, my discretions, how I want to assign the credit ratings. So उसमें क्या हो रहा था, like lot of times it was happening that when we were extracting the data, like in some places like they write like let's say they use the word FCF,
Hmm.
and somewhere they use the word free cash flow. Correct.
Right.
Now both the things are same, but like there is no way for me to know it's same or not. So what I was doing that I was I was using this AI function just to standardize the data. So so what I did, I got the PDFs, I put them in the chat GPT, I got an Excel file output with
Hmm.
all the data converted into like a proper Excel.
Hmm.
Then I use that Excel to build my entire model. But then,
Right.
and that's kind of my discretionary proprietary model. It's my own calculations.
Hmm.
And then उसमें ये issues आ रहे थे, like the data was not standardized because
Hmm.
Moody's also is not very standardized in giving out the data. So there
Right.
I was using these AI based functions because वो मुझे Excel में ही use करना है. Correct.
Hmm.
So because my model is in Excel, so that is how the combination of AI and Excel works. Of course you can use AI independently also to get the answer, but
Got it.
if in real life situation it's not very easy कि आपने data डाला, prompt डाला and आपको answer आ गया. Like
Right.
maybe for marketing purpose people say that, but real
Hmm.
life is very complex. So you need a combination of lot of tools to solve the problem, and that's
Okay.
where these things are more helpful.
Okay, this is cool. But let's say I have a I have a database in which I have a list of employees in a company. I have the salary, designation, department, and let's say a lot other fields. I don't want to apply filter, freeze panes, and then pivot. I just want something
Mhm.
like ChatGPT. Okay, I want to do this analysis. What is the average salary? Which department has the highest salary? Something like that. So, is there anything in Excel where I can just type my question and it would give me the answer?
I think that's a very lazy question, but like a very good question. So yeah, like so let me just go to some of the data that I've plotted. So this is a
Okay.
very basic generic data like name, designation, department, and salary.
Right.
And this is the very right data set, where we can ask such questions. So
Okay.
Excel may we have something called as Copilot. So
Okay.
Copilot is like a custom AI tool which is integrated into your Excel, which is kind of built by Microsoft. So what you can do is you can just go access Copilot, and you can just simply write some key prompt. So let me just write give me average salary by let's say designation. So
Okay.
designation. So I have just written a prompt. One thing which you should be careful, like when you are using Copilot, is that your file should be on OneDrive and it should be having an autosave on. That's one of the prerequisites to use like your autosave option.
Okay.
Copilot, and see it has done the job. So
Oh,
analyst ka average
interesting.
salary is 27,000.
Hmm.
So let's just I don't I have trust issues. So I'll put
Okay.
designation, I'll put analyst. uh, oops, ये मैनेजर क्यों आ गया? यहाँ पे भी नहीं पीछा छोड़ रहा है. Yeah, so analyst, and these are the two salaries. So it is what, like 27,977 ना, इन दोनों का टोटली कर देता हूँ, this
Hmm.
plus this, and divided by 2, so is equal to this divided by 2, so it is 27,977. I think it has just rounded off to the real
27,980. Hmm.
980. Yeah, so it has rounded off to the nearest decimal. So yeah, I mean, like no need of I mean, I don't know if I should share this Copilot hacks and all. Now nobody is going to invite me for Excel training. They will be like, सिर्फ Copilot में prompt डालना है and answer आ रहा है. So yeah, I mean, that's why I've started learning cooking. If like ChatGPT and Copilot, kind of do this all the job which I'm doing as an Excel expert, then maybe that would be my source of primary income.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
What about those VBA coders and Excel
yeah,
trainers?
yeah.
Yeah. No, this is very cool. And can we use this for even cleaning the data?
Yeah, you can use this even for cleaning the data. So like a lot of things can be done. One more way where like you can use generative AI better is that in terms of analyzing the data. Like let's say we post this comment on YouTube. Sorry, we post this podcast on YouTube,
Right.
and like let's assume you get 1,500 comments.
Hmm.
Now you want to sit and analyze those comments कि
Hmm.
लोगों को अच्छा लगा, बुरा लगा, neutral है. So
Hmm.
in such situations, again, see what I've done is that I've asked this AI.ask ChatGPT based function to summarize the data, and it has classified the data whether the comment is a positive or a negative comment.
But you need to
So
paste comments here from the YouTube.
yeah, you need to paste comments. That's one thing. And maybe like you can try some other prompt as well. Can you create a word cloud? Like let's say, can you
Hmm.
create a word cloud uh, based on the data in column A? So I've just given it a challenge that I have given you some data in column A, and you can just create a word cloud. I just want to understand कि कौन से which uh, YouTuber like subscribers are using what type of words. So even such type of analysis, we can ask Copilot to do it. So yeah, so I think it has, see again, this is how problematic AI is. It has given a word cloud based on some other sheet ka data. So
Oh.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'll tell it ki YouTube comments, do it for YouTube comments sheet. So yeah, I mean you can't just completely rely on AI. You need to have that human discretion, see what's the output. So see, it has given a word cloud.
Hmm.
Basically it just says what, and it has given us this image also, which says basically what type of words people have used in your
Right.
YouTube comments. So I
Hmm.
mean, such an amazing visual which like kind of Copilot has created for us. So
Hmm.
data analyzing, data cleaning, writing formulas, you can do hell lot of things using Copilot.
This
So
is
yeah, if
very interesting and it makes me think. Do you think with AI and all the functions and all the cool tips and tricks we keep talking about Excel would be relevant, or would it be just a prompt that would clean your data, that would run the
yeah.
macro, make the macro, and we might not just need the macro?
Yeah. So I have thought a lot on this question. I also mentioned that I have done a hedged bet by learning cooking. So why I feel that Excel is going to be relevant. See, earlier we had calculators. Then
Right.
calculators ke baad we had spreadsheets. Then we
Hmm.
had, intelligence tools like Power BI, and today we have AI. So there
Right.
was always a category of people who used calculators better than the average, who
Hmm.
used Excel better than the average.
Hmm.
So even like you have been a student, right? Like some students are very good with using calculators, some are not, and we can see
Right.
that difference. Same goes with Excel. So I feel that there would be a category of people who use AI better than the average, and
Right.
who like write very bad prompts.
Hmm.
Don't know how to use AI, don't know the problems with large language models.
Hmm.
So I think वो जो differentiation है that is based on your core concepts का understanding, like do you
Hmm.
understand statistics, do you understand regression, do you understand basic concepts of logical thinking, critical thinking. So I think once you work on Excel, like you see the data, you see the output, you build functions. जैसे हम लोग ने, if you remember, हम लोग ने वो fiscal year का case study किया था.
Right.
तो
Hmm.
वहाँ पे we had thought logically, and वो
Hmm.
logical thinking हम लोग ने के basis पे उस पे we had written a function. So I think
Right.
what Excel helps you do is it helps you improve your logical thinking,
Hmm.
clarity. And I think that is the thing which Excel gives you, and it makes you a better prompter. So
Hmm.
anybody who uses Excel a lot will develop
Yeah.
his logical thinking, critical thinking, and he will be the person who uses AI better. So I
Hmm.
still feel it's very relevant. And second thing I told you, ki AI models are a black box. So
Right.
you give decision making power to a LLM basically, like
Hmm.
now you just say ask analyze the data, and it is telling you whether it is a negative or a positive comment.
Hmm.
Now how do you trust it, right? Like what
Right.
if there is a bias in that LLM model? What if it's trying
Right.
to manipulate you? So
Hmm.
at that end of the day, you have to take the onus of the decisions. So I
Hmm.
think you need to rely on your discretion, your
Hmm.
understanding, the mathematics, the logical thinking, critical thinking, which you do. So I think in those situations, again, like doing this hard work will make you a better logical thinker. So I
Right.
mean, yeah, just to summarize, AI can give you wrong answers, so you need to know your basics. Second, AI can give you biased answers, so you should be
Hmm.
aware of what you are doing. And third, for AI to give you good answers, you should know कि आपको करना क्या है, क्या यूज करना है. जैसे आपको पता ही नहीं VBA macros क्या है, तो आप कैसे वो इंडेक्स क्रिएट करते हैं, राइट?
That's
यू
true.
नीड टू नो द बेसिक्स ऑफ VBA macros. कहाँ
Yeah.
पे जाना है, कहाँ पे कोड टाइप करना है, कैसे रन करना है, तो ये आप AI यूज
Basically,
कर
you
पाओगे.
don't need to do the clerical things with AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Got
it's just like having, cheat codes जो
it.
game में
Hmm.
होते हैं, or like, having some boosters. Uh, that's the way. So I don't think it's like replacing anyone. I think it's just making everyone efficient.
Hmm.
And the more you use AI, the more you do logical thinking, critical thinking, आप उतने ही average crowd से better रहोगे. Like there is one very mean saying, like like when you're scuba diving, you don't have to outswim the shark, you have to outswim the person with whom you are scuba diving.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I would just say that, like just learn to use AI better than the average,
Hmm.
and you're there.
Got it. Okay, so we talked about macros, we talked about Power Query, AI. There are a few terms like Power Automate, Office scripts. I don't know about these terms, and a lot of people don't. So, what are these terms and how one can use them in real life?
Yeah, so Office scripts is a new programming language which is there. So you can see that I'll just type some examples. So I'll type some names of fruits like apple. Like which is your favorite fruit, Nandini?
Mango. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, I guessed it right.
Yeah.
So and let's say watermelon. Now let's say I just want to remove the duplicates in this data set. So
Okay.
I have this automate tab activated. In case you
Hmm.
don't have it, you go to Excel options, which is
Hmm.
file, and then you go to options, you go to quick access toolbar or customize ribbon, and here you can check this developer box, you can check this automate box. So in case you don't have it, so you get the automate tab. And then I can just write a simple code like, just like let's say all scripts, and I just ask them key remove duplicates is the task which I want to do. So it has given me some
Hmm.
samples and let's say remove duplicates. So I just run this script.
Okay.
So see, it has removed duplicates. Now we just have apple,
Hmm.
mango, and this. Correct. So now what I
Got
have
it.
done is that I have used like Office scripts to kind of clean my data set. So what is Office scripts? Like, see, this is edit. So this is the
Hmm.
language which is being written. So जैसे VBA macros एक language थी, वैसे एक TypeScript करके और एक language है. So
Right.
TypeScript के language के basis पे Office scripts use हो रहा है. So it's a new
Hmm.
programming language. VBA macros आपके सिर्फ कंप्यूटर पे काम करते, मोबाइल में काम नहीं करते, डेस्कटॉप मतलब ऑनलाइन वेब पे काम नहीं करते. Office
Hmm.
scripts works on your mobile, it works on your Excel for web as well. So it's just
Hmm.
an update, like a new programming language being introduced by Microsoft to kind of help you, do tasks on mobile, on online web, etc. So it's just like VBA Macros 2.0. That is your Office scripts.
So one
Uh,
doesn't need to use conditional formatting anymore. Like that's how I would have removed duplicates. Firstly, I would have highlighted duplicates and then I would have removed them.
yeah. I mean, there are, see, Excel में क्या होता है, there are n number of ways to do one things. So
Right.
as you rightly said, conditional formatting से कर सकते हैं.
Hmm.
There is a new function in Excel which is like, let me just copy paste this again.
Huh.
Yeah, so there is a new function in Excel which is called as a unique function. So I just type
Hmm.
unique is equal to, and you can see I get the unique values. So
Got it.
unique function use कर सकते हैं.
Hmm.
तो एक ही like different ways to solve the same business problem. Just मैंने आपको office scripts का भी तरीका बताया, and you can
Hmm.
write very complex, very detailed office script जैसे हम लोग ने index create किया था.
Right.
So yeah, so it's a new programming language.
Hmm.
Like very recently launched, 2-3 साल ही हुए हैं.
And what is
You
Power
can
Automate?
Yeah, so Power Automate is a completely different tool
Hmm.
which helps you like more in automation. So now see what
Hmm.
happens is that like let's say you can create some workflows in Power Automate.
Hmm.
So what happens is that see client से data आता है, वो आप download करते हो, फिर आप किसी को भेजते हो. Correct. So you
Right.
can automate this entire process. You can create a workflow कि इस client से ये file आ गई, तो
Hmm.
आप ऑटोमेटिकली डाउनलोड करो. You can do your entire Excel work and you automatically export it also. Like, you can automatically send an email also. So you can create a complete workflow using Power Automate. So like, completely automate हो जाता है आपका काम end to end. So
Hmm.
that's the beauty of, using Power Automate as a tool, which will help you create a workflow and automate the process from like start to end.
Okay. I have been seeing a couple of videos around dynamic arrays, then
Mhm.
power pivot, and in general, like pivot is something that we all use a lot when we want to
Mhm.
analyze very heavy data. But even within pivot, a lot of people don't know that you can actually apply some formulas and function within itself. So, what
Yeah.
are these terms and how can one use them in real life?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just walk you through the basic concepts of dynamic arrays. I
Yeah.
think that's like a very new topic which I am passionate about. So let me just go to that sheet. So one thing जो हम लोग discuss कर रहे थे, like, which was the concept of dollar signs in Excel.
Hmm.
And like, a lot of people, they kind of don't like dollar signs. They feel like, काफी complex है, कैसे करना है. So like let me just throw this data to you. Correct? You have parts of computers. You have the USD INR rate, and
Right.
these are your currency conversion rates. अभी आपको एक
Hmm.
एक convert करना है. So you do this into this,
Okay.
then you do this into this. एक तो manually 24 बार करो.
Right.
Correct. So that is one way. Otherwise, you can use a concept of dollar signs. Is that where you freeze column C because you don't want your column C to change. तो मैं
Right.
column C के पहले एक dollar दे देता हूँ, and I will just copy paste this data. Let's see if it's working or not. So it's working fine for the first row, but in
Hmm.
the second row it's giving me an error because it's again referring to the bottom cell. तो
Right.
I realize कि मुझे 20 के पहले भी डॉलर साइन डालना है, तो मैं
Hmm.
20 के पहले डॉलर साइन डालता हूँ, and then I do this. So now you're doing this using dollar signs and people are like, "Oof, this is too complex. ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है."
Yeah.
So yeah, so now there is a concept called as dynamic arrays in Excel. I'll again go to my screen and I will show some. Yeah. So then, do you remember like studying this in school days? matrix
Yeah, yeah.
multiplication. Yeah, yeah. So you can use the same concept again. It's the very much like one of the most important topics used a lot in computing world, which is matrices.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, not taught best in the school. So you can
Hmm.
just use a simple MMULT function, which is a matrix multiplication function with the help of
Okay.
dynamic arrays. You
Hmm.
select array 1 and you select array 2, and you
Okay.
can see you get the output like
Wow.
आपका पूरा data हो गया है, and you did not even use MMULT. You can just simply say array 1 into array 2. That's it,
Hmm.
and you get the entire output. Like in no concept of dollar signs, no concepts of nothing. Just multiply one array into array. If you want
Hmm.
to understand how it works, go to a library 12th standard की matrix की book ले
Yeah.
लो and थोड़े questions solve करो. You'll understand it better. Or
Hmm.
maybe you can reach out to me, like, if you want to learn Excel.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So, dynamic array includes everything where you select like an array and you just play around with that. Like you just don't choose two cells standalone. It should be an array. What you are
Yeah.
multiplying, what you're
Yeah.
dividing.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good way you have put it. So see, traditionally हम लोग Excel में क्या करते थे? I am doing C21 into this particular column. So cell C21 into cell I20. This is traditional Excel. But यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? Array C21 to C28 into array I20 to K20. So now we are multiplying one array by another array, not a cell. We are
Hmm.
multiplying a range of cells.
So this is arrays. What is power pivot?
So Power Pivot again, like it's an like an add-in. So you can see I have a Power Pivot, and it's something
Right.
called as data modeling in Excel. So
Hmm.
I'll give a very theoretical explanation to Power Pivot. So basically, as I told you in Power Query, it's based on M language. So Power Pivot is based on DAX language, DAX, data analysis expressions.
Okay.
That's DAX.
Hmm.
So like if you learn Power BI, then that works on the basis of DAX. So
Okay.
what you can do is like you can within Excel, you can install Power Pivot, and you can like basically work on like Power Pivot. So you'll have to learn DAX language, and what you can do is that you can basically work on very large data sets. So what happens is that Excel has a limitation that it cannot analyze rows beyond 1 million, like that is 10 lakh rows. But Power Pivot का वो limitation नहीं है. You can
Hmm.
analyze even like 4 million, 5 million rows of data sets. So that is one advantage where you can use the concept of Power Pivots. And Power Pivots में DAX के functions होते हैं. Again, like a completely new programming language. So you can use those predefined functions very easily, and you can like kind of do your job. So uh, Power Pivot helps you do DAX based calculations within Excel. So
Hmm.
that's what is Power Pivot. And lot of things are there, like you can connect few tables. So हम लोग सी देखो हम लोग lookup लगाते हैं, right? So यहाँ पे
Right.
मुझे lookup लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. I've just connected the
Hmm.
tables. So I've just said कि this is my table.
Hmm.
ये डिपार्टमेंट कनेक्ट करो, यहाँ से इसको ये कनेक्ट करो, एंड आई हैव जस्ट क्रिएटेड अभी सारा डेटा एक कॉमन कंसोलिडेटेड टेबल बन गया व्हिच आई कैन डायरेक्टली एनालाइज, नो नीड ऑफ एनी लुकअप्स. सो
Hmm.
दैट्स द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ पावर पिवट. आई अंडरस्टैंड, लाइक मैंने काफी ब्रीफ में आपको आंसर दिया है, but I think that's a very good answer because you have now a theoretical understanding. Maybe
Hmm.
then if you want to learn it in detail, you'll have to spend a couple of hours on each topic, to understand it in detail.
Who do you
Yeah.
think would be the users of Power Pivot? Like I have never used it in my work.
सी पावर पिवट सीखना है तो आपको 2-3 घंटे लगाने पड़ेंगे बेसिक
Hmm.
सीखने में. पावर क्वेरी में आपको 2-3 घंटे लगाने पड़ेंगे. वीबीए मैक्रोस सीखने में 2-3 घंटे लगाने पड़ेंगे. सो द पर्पस ऑफ दिस पॉडकास्ट इज नॉट टू स्कैर यू, बट टू एनलाइटन यू दैट दिस इज द
Yeah.
एक्सेल यूनिवर्स,
Hmm.
and every part of the universe, like you'll have to spend a considerable amount of time, maybe 3-4
Hmm.
hours to understand the basics of it so that you can start using
Hmm.
it. And based on आपके जॉब में आपको क्या लगता है, you can use it. Like lot of people I know, they work a lot on Power Query. उनको Excel functions का काम ही नहीं पड़ता है
Hmm.
because they have that type of a role. Correct. So every role, like some people I know are VBA developers. उनको basic
Hmm.
Excel functions भी नहीं होता बता होते, because their job is more on developing VBA based add-ins. So आपके job में आपको क्या लगता है, like what you need, that is something which you should focus on, and you should know कि ये universe है and these are the things which
Hmm.
are like existent. So हम लोग ने क्या क्या
Right.
डिस्कस किया? We discuss Excel functions, we
Hmm.
discussed Python in Excel, we discussed dynamic arrays, We discussed new functions like Lambdas. We discussed PowerQuery. We discussed VBA Macros. We discussed Office scripts.
Hmm.
We discussed Power Pivot. We discussed AI, Copilot. So like that is the gamut of Excel universe.
And there's still like huge to learn across all these topics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
correct.
one day I was just sitting idle and I was thinking, okay, what to do with the Excel, and I went through some of the articles. So I came across
Mhm.
these functions of fetching stock prices, geography data, and even translations, etc. So I think a lot of people don't know that such features exist and what can you do with them. So
Mhm.
can you tell us about these features and how one can use them in their day-to-day work?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to ask you a very personal question and you have to answer. So tell me the stock in which you have made an investment. It should be an Indian stock. So,
Let's say Tata Motors.
okay, like I don't know the ticker of Tata Motors, but let's do a Tata Motors. I am
Yep.
personally invested in DMart.
Okay.
So now I can use something called as a stock history function. So
Okay.
basically, I just have to give it a stock का ticker. I have to give it a start date and I have to give it an end date. So अभी मैं वो
Okay.
start date and end date डालता हूँ. So
Right.
start date, the keyboard
C46
shortcut
and
is
C47. Yeah.
yeah. So control and semicolon is the shortcut. Let's say मैं 2024 डालता हूँ
Hmm.
and let's say मैं end date डाल देता हूँ, which is 2025 today's date. And you
Okay.
can see I have Tata Motors का stock price 521,403.
Wow.
So it has not given you any returns. Yeah,
Yeah.
in 1 year. Let me just slide this down to DMart.
Demand.
Yeah. And let me just put it. I was an investor of DMart in IPO. मैंने
Okay.
IPO में लिया था.
Hmm.
I had sold it on the day of listing. मेरा
Okay.
100% प्रॉफिट हुआ था. 300 में
Wow.
खरीद के मैंने 600 में बेचा था. That
Hmm.
was the happiest day of my life until today because that stock is now trading at 4,000 rupees. So
Wow.
yeah. So I understood the importance of being a long-term investor. So,
Now you
yeah,
regret selling it.
yeah, I definitely regret selling it. Yeah,
Yeah. But you can never control these things. It
yeah,
could have been listed at 250.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then another thing, like let's say I stay in Mumbai,
Okay.
so I put this Mumbai, I go to data and I convert it to a geography data type. So now this has become a Mumbai geography. Correct. So now this is a complete cell where I can fetch Mumbai ka data. So I just
Okay.
choose plus and I
Hmm.
can say population. So it will
Okay.
fetch me the population of Mumbai, which is what? Uh, 1 crore 54 lakhs. Yeah, that's
Hmm.
the population of Mumbai. I
And
think you
is
did
this
your
data reliable?
uh, I think it's reliable. So because it's coming from Microsoft.
Okay.
So let's just test. So Mumbai population.
Hmm.
It's 20.9 million as per estimate, or it is saying 1.25 crore, like
Okay.
on Wikipedia, where it
Hmm.
is throwing an answer of 1.5 crore. So yeah,
Hmm.
in terms of this thing, like I think Microsoft has tied up with Refinitiv,
Hmm.
and see it has given a disclaimer also, like financial information is
Provided as well.
yeah. So it has tied up with Refinitiv. Refinitiv gives you the data. So
Hmm.
now it's on your belief system if you believe that database or not. So see, it's coming from Refinitiv, which is like
Hmm.
a very credible source. I use
That's cool.
Bloomberg at my work. Refinitiv is one. Morningstar is one. Cap IQ is one. So a lot of different sources.
And any other feature here in data which you think might be interesting for the audience to know?
Yeah, I mean, you can put some stock numbers. Like, let's say I convert DMart, I'll convert it to a stock type. So I
Okay.
convert it to a stock. So then it asks us, what you want. Like, let's say you want to get PE ratio of DMart.
Hmm.
So let's say price to earnings. So it is trading at 100 P multiple, which is like super crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
you can get some sort of this information. Like let's say you want to know the number of employees. So it has what
Hmm.
like 16,000 employees.
Hmm.
So that's you can just copy these values above and it will give. I have not converted this to a stock data type, so I'll convert this to a stock data type
Yeah.
and see. Tata Motors is trading at a PE of 5 and it has
Right.
86,000 employees. So yeah, these are
Mm.
some interesting features where you can pull the data.
Got it. Like this could be something useful for people who trade or who trade in public markets to fetch
Yeah,
the data for the portfolio company.
yeah,
Now, a very interesting personal question. What is the
okay.
one feature you think Excel should have, but it doesn't have?
Okay. So yeah, although I love Excel, I think it's my relationship with my mom. Like I love my mom, but we end up fighting like, once in 2, 3 days. So I love a lot of features in Excel, but a few things which I think Excel can improve on. A is that it can give me a audit log.
Hmm.
Like let's say I send you a file, and then you make some changes on that file. So it should have like another audit trail, like what changes were made by Nandini after I send the files. I can
Hmm.
track the process. So I think that is one way Excel can improve in terms of like its auditability feature, like creating logs. And second, like navigating Excel formulas is like, really tough. Like let's say I write some cell, like let's say I go to this sheet, I sum this up with something on this particular sheet. Like I write this formula. Now it's very difficult for me to, navigate to these cells individually. So
Hmm.
it becomes like a pain point, अलग अलग sheets जाओ and navigate करो. उसके लिए you have to buy paid add-ins. I think this is something basic which Excel should be able to solve on its own. So I think
Hmm.
these are some basic problems. Uh, One very nerdy answer, like Excel has a problem of array of arrays. I won't go into detail,
Okay.
but yeah, it has a problem of array of arrays where
Hmm.
like if you go into like super advanced concept of dynamic arrays, you will face this issue,
Hmm.
which is not there in Google Sheets, which is another spreadsheet tool. So I think that's also something which I want Microsoft to fix. So yeah, if you're watching this Microsoft, then these are the three requests from my side.
Yes, it should be fulfilled.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of people watching this podcast might be entering professional world or might already be consultants working in a company, right? We learned how to clean data, how to perform different kind of operations. But the last step or the next step is presenting it to your seniors. So which then the important part is presenting it in a way that is intuitive and looks like more consulting grade dashboard or like professional dashboard. So, do you follow any framework or let's say checklist while designing such a dashboard when you present it to your manager or clients? Or how should one think about it?
Yeah, I think you're asking me my trade secrets. But yeah, I mean, to answer that question, I believe that like whenever you have any data, like, you should ask those simple questions like, what, when, why, how.
Hmm.
So like just be mindful that this is the data and these are the very valid questions which anyone would ask, based on their data. So just be mindful of that. Have answers to all those questions in your dashboard or in your report.
Hmm.
I think that's one thing. Second thing is that build some visualizations out of it, like, create some charts or organize the data in good tables, so that it's visually appealing, easy to read. So, use a lot of visualizations like creating Excel charts, etc.
Any charts, etc., you can show us which you think would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. So let me just see if I have some data set. Yeah, so this is some very simple basic data which I have period, then GDP INR million and
Right.
percentage share in the world GDP. So
Hmm.
now what usually happens, हम लोग को बचपन में सिर्फ x axis and y axis सिखाया था,
Yeah.
but यहाँ पे देखो तीन axis है, like एक period है which is quarter,
Hmm.
then you have GDP which is in INR million, and then we have
Hmm.
percentage share in GDP which is in percentage metric. So आप ये chart कैसे बनाओगे, right? You need three
Hmm.
axes because there are three variables. So in
Right.
Excel, there is a concept called as dual axis chart. So you can go to home insert,
Hmm.
and Excel has become smarter. If you click on recommended charts, it will automatically give you, uh, maybe in
Hmm.
this case, it has not given me. Let me
Hmm.
just click on OK. And yeah, I think I'll just go to change chart type, and
Hmm.
I'll go to my combo chart and I'll say that put percentage share in the secondary axis.
Right.
So I click on secondary axis. Now you can see I
Hmm.
have two axes. So earlier I just had one axis. So ये percentage का number दिखेगा ही नहीं because it's between 0 to
Right.
1. So when I
Hmm.
put it on secondary axis, now you can see that this is such a nice, easy to read chart. Like, this is the trend
Hmm.
line. And then you can add like, small things, like you can add access titles, because again, you don't know whether this is fiscal year or calendar quarters, like what is the unit of this. So वो सारी चीजें आप access titles में डालो. You can
Right.
add data labels to the chart so that
Hmm.
whoever is looking at the data, he also sees the labels. You can add a proper title to the chart. You can maybe beautify it, like, if you are into that. So that is one way, you can create charts into Excel. So coming
Hmm.
to your original questions, yeah, have those questions ready. And वो questions आप पूछो with the
Hmm.
data, how, when, what, if, like, all those things should be answered to create a lot of visualization. Always sense check the data. Like
Hmm.
usually my experience with CXOs is that they know their businesses very well. So it has happened to me a lot of times that I have built a model and उन्होंने नंबर देख के ही बता दिया कि मॉडल गलत है.
Same. I've experienced it.
Yeah, because they know their business very well. And then I realized कि हाँ डॉलर से नहीं डाला है, ये फॉर्मूला में ये सेल रेफरेंस गलत हो गया. Like something which feels very embarrassing when you are sitting in front of
Hmm.
a very senior person. So I would say, yeah, since check the data, like use, be mindful of like what you're presenting. Does that number make sense? I use ChatGPT a lot. जो भी output आता है, put it in ChatGPT and
Hmm.
just ask it to ballpark analysis देख के बताओ कि numbers ठीक है नहीं है. So I
Hmm.
think that's one way you can do it. And always like have a very logical mathematical base to what you have presented.
Hmm.
Like just don't rely on some black boxes,
Right.
like even a small thing, like let's say you use something called as an average. Now you are using an arithmetic mean. You should be aware the average function is arithmetic mean. There
Hmm.
are different ways of averages also. You can use a median, you can use a mode. So you should be aware of the small nuances, like when you present a data. Like if you're analyzing a data of salary, then it makes more sense to use a median function than using an average function.
Right.
So these are small nuances that you should
Hmm.
be able to know, like while
Yeah.
building the outputs and the reports.
Understood. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so you told us a lot of things about Excel. Now we want to know how do you keep yourself updated about it so that people who have learned a lot from this podcast, they can keep learning. What are
Yeah.
your sources?
Yeah, I think एक एक secret ही आप पूछ रहे हो like in this podcast, but yeah, I like to share the knowledge. So one way I do this, I'll tell you one support page trick. So like let's say you want to learn VLOOKUP function, you type
Okay.
VLOOKUP, you hit tab, you press Control A, you click help on this function. So you land to a page which is called as support.microsoft.com.
Hmm.
So Microsoft is what, $2-3 trillion company making
Hmm.
billions of revenue through Office products. So
Hmm.
उनका support page is going to be the most authentic page.
Right.
Correct? So यहाँ पे आप formulas and functions पे click करो.
आई एम
You
श्योर
can
काफी लोग ये पेज खुलते ही बंद कर देते हैं कि ये क्या खुल गया है.
yeah, absolutely. So I think ये आपकी भगवत गीता है. If you are
Hmm.
an Excel users, तो काफी चीजें दी है. देखो उन्होंने some function के बारे में बताया है. They have given a nice video. They have given you syntax. They have told you best practices.
Hmm.
करेक्ट. लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स विच दे हैव कवर्ड. सी जो हम लोग ने वैल्यू एरर की बात की थी वो उन्होंने यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट किया है. सो आई
Right.
थिंक spend a lot of time on support.microsoftoffice.com. I think that's one very good way to learn. There is another blog which is called as a tech community. So
Hmm.
let me just tech community Microsoft. So this is also a very good blog page where Microsoft के ही काफी experts, people from Microsoft, they kind of write about a lot of updates which are happening uh, in like within Excel, all those things. So I think this is also like a very interesting page for
Got
you to read. So that is one trick. And then one more USP trick which I learned from my one of my mentors,
Hmm.
like which I'm just passing down to generation, is like follow the right people. So a lot of people are like is Shraddha Kapoor on LinkedIn,
Hmm.
and I'm like कि हाँ ठीक है. I mean, yeah, she's there. Like what's the big deal? So I mean, you don't follow the right people. Correct. So you should be following the right people. Like, so I'll give you some example. Like, there is a person called as, Joe McDay. So
Hmm.
he is like one of the product heads at Excel. right? And he is, talking about, see, now he's telling you, I'm thrilled to announce Excel's new Copilot function. So
Hmm.
वो post लिख के बता रहा है. Then another this lady, which is Catherine, she also is his head of product Excel core at Microsoft. She is also writing posts, कि Excel को भी today marks Excel's 40th birthday. So follow these right people. You can follow Catherine. Then there is a feature in Excel which is called as flash fill. So a lot of people don't know this. The flash fill का जो inventor है, that is an Indian person. So Sumit Gulwani करके है. If you go on his bio, he says, inventor of flash fill feature in Excel.
Hmm.
So like, he is an Indian person. He's working in Microsoft, vice president hai, IITN hai. So follow these set of right people. And the most important tip for the day for the podcast is follow this guy. Yeah,
Yes.
he puts a lot of amazing content on Excel. So if you follow him, you can stay updated about your Excel knowledge.
Yes. And for everyone's benefit, I hope you guys got a lot of knowledge from this podcast. And I did a lot. Chinmay and I are organizing a live Excel workshop where we will talk in 10x depth than this podcast. We'll touch upon a lot of tips and tricks, tools, AI, and what all you can do with the help of Excel. It would be a 3 hours plus content. So if you are someone who is interested in this, you can check out the link in the description. So thanks a lot, Chinmay. It was very, very helpful, and I hope you keep excelling at Excel all the times.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed, discussing Excel with you. I think it's almost 12 o'clock in the night, and we are discussing Excel. So I had fun, and I hope people learn from these tricks,
Yeah.
which we have discussed, and also they join us for the bigger course where we can, teach them in depth and make them, ready for their job interviews or get those brownie points at workplace, faster promotions, career growth, and
Yeah.
just be better at data analysis. So looking forward to all of you, like, joining us for the long cohort.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Chinmay, and thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.